Today we'll go through the new runtime environment which runs both JavaScript and the TypeScript, that is Deno. We pronounce as Deno. This is developed by none other than the Node.js founder, the Random. So he has found some of the issues with the Node.js. He has announced in 2017 some Euro JavaScript conference, and he has taken 2 years to develop this Deno, the framework which now supports both JavaScript and TypeScript. We'll go through some of the things which is different from the Node.js, like it is secure by default, so that any of the file systems, network, and environment access will not be provided until unless we give a permission to that. That is pretty cool, and it supports TypeScript, which is gaining popularity over JavaScript now because it given more inheritance properties and classes, interfaces, and everything as ES6 supports. It's pretty good now, and then it ships with single executable now, and it has all the built-in facilities, libraries. Like it won't support the Node.js, means it won't support the npm packages. There is no npm packages for this Deno, so it has its own in-house models which we can use to develop an application. So they have given the standard libraries and third-party models as well. They here referred as models. So it has these models like which are pretty much required to develop spin applications, web applications, and normal desktop applications as well. So these pretty much on third-party libraries. It supports some of the Node.js models as well, which are selected. It is there as a third-party support. How do we install this into Windows system? We'll see, because pretty much all the Mac OS, Linux, and everything is there. As I use Windows, so using a PowerShell, we can install this Deno. So using a Charco, we can directly install Charco, install Deno. So it will be installed in the system, and we will run the models, and then we'll bring up the server and see how this works. So let me open my VS editor. So here I have copied the sample which is plotted here, and then you can see here, see all the methods are async here, so that it will return the promises. Deno returns the promises, all the methods are async. So here you can see for loop wait, and then making a request, and then all the requests, and it is responding a hello over here. Like we created a server objects, we got the model directly from HTTP model server.ts file, which is there in the Dynaland standard library, and created an instance, and then we are waiting for the request. So now let us run the Deno. So Deno run, this is hello. Boom. So we got the permission denied. So that's what as initially I told, it's a secure. So we need to provide this allow net flag. So then it will give an access to execute our hello TS. Now Deno is up and running on the 8000 port. We will go and then access this. So we should be able to see hello test in the browser. Here we got hello thing. It's pretty straightforward. This is okay. Now what we'll do is now we'll do a little like exercises more on this Deno as it is in the initial stage. We may not be having a full-fledged web framework kind of thing where in which we can develop a full CRUD thing and then show. For now, it's having the support of MongoDB, so I will try to do that sample. For now, we'll do with a list, and then we'll try to see how this goes. Now, I have written a CRUD sample, so where it is like app.js, where the application execution starts. So from the OAuth model, I have taken the applications and the router. So application is nothing but a server instance it will create, and the routes are nothing but, as we know in all the other languages, it will route the request URL to the particular method. Now we have initialized the application. So here I am doing everything on the TypeScript instead of JavaScript. So app.js, so we created an app instance, and then I have written a route handler where in which we initialize routes and then configure the route with an application. Let me open the route handler. So you can see a route handler method class. In this route handler class, I am taking application instance which we created in app.js, this app instance which is going for the constructor of route handler. In the route handler, I am creating a router instance, and then in init method, for that app, I'm telling to use this route instance which is getting like created now. All the routes have been initialized, and all the methods which have been allowed methods have been assigned to that, so that a router is ready, up and ready to accept the request. Now, once the router is ready, we need to have a controller like an endpoint or the API endpoints wherein which will make a request. So for that, I have written one user controller, so which is a pretty simple class which will just take the routes and then configure the endpoints. You can see here in here, while creating an user controller instance, I am passing the router and all the route instance. So it will take the route instance into the controller. Let's see here in the constructor we have got the route and initialized to the router, and we are configuring all the routes. Here we are configuring all the CRUD operation route, like if I'm using a route get methods, if here it's a post method, put method, and delete method. I have assigned the user, this is my URL path, and these are the method which has to be executed as per the URL request. Now we'll go get all method one by one, all the methods we go. It's all like inline um, arrow functions. So now it is taking a get all method is getting called whenever they from the browser we hit a slash user. So here we get the response. Pretty much we're not doing anything. I have written the Java here an array. So this array of users which contains some like object like user object. I have defined one interface with the properties name and the company. So pretty much it has a name and a company. This is Utesh, Utesh, and pretty other names we have added and constructed a user list. Now when user hits for the like application slash 8000 slash user, then it should be able to return me the list. So this user return list will be assigning back to the responder body. We are setting that and returning. Let us run this sample and see if we let me move to my request. Yes. Let's try now. Run. I need to put on the flag. Let me copy that on the flag and now it's running. Now I will go and then try to like access. Slash user. So I should be able to get all the users. As it is a get mail, we can directly access from the browser. Oh, something went wrong. Let me see which port I have configured. Oh, sorry, I have configured for the 4000. So let me for the 4000. Oh, we got the JSON response here. Let me like run all these samples and point URLs from the Postman. So that will be easy for to do all the create, update, delete, everything. Let it open. Meantime, we'll go to the controller and we'll go all the methods and then we'll come back. Execution. This tab. Yeah. Pretty much like all the CRUD operations, this also like for the get method. If you see for the get method and get the user by name, so it is passing the params and then the response object. So in the param we are looking for the name field. So this name and this name variable should match, and then it will return the response object. So we will be finding the find the user by name. So as ours is a list and is an array list, just find method separately return where it will filter out the names which are matching to the username which we are passing in the URL. Let's compare here and we will get the user object. Once we get the user object, we are setting the response 200 and then setting back. Setting the user, whatever the resultant user, what we got from the filter of the list, setting the body. If we don't get anything, it will return 404. Now, let me check this get thing from the Postman. We'll go here, let me open my Deno. Get user. So here I'm trying to, as we have users list, Utesh, Key and Guni. So this is a user. This is the endpoint I'm going to hit. I got like what is the user which I passed here. If I pass something here, it should return like we have 404, we have configured 404 and the user not phone thing. we should be able to get that. So, user not found. Pretty straightforward thing. Now similarly we'll go and then try to create, like there is a post method, we'll try to do a post method. Usually for the post method we need a request and the response. With the request body will contain our request object which we are passing from postman, and here requested body, it is awaiting on the request till the request comes. It will await, and then if it's a big object we are sending, it will try to get that object and process, and we got the object, and then we'll try to read the body values, what are the values it has. The values are nothing but the object which we pass, and then we are passing and constructing into the user object and then pushing to our list, and then we are returning 200. We'll see, we'll try to create a new user and then see now. I'll go, this is my body, I'll say user X. So user X I'm adding to the company. Yeah, okay, the user got added. Now we'll go and in the get all we'll do, and we should be able to see that user which we newly added. Boom. You can see here user X is getting added, and we're able to see that one. Now pretty much like we'll do the update of things. So similarly how we do in the CRUD operation, it will take params, request and response. You can see in the line number 63, and we will try to find out the user first by the name, and then we will get the user object and do our update operations here, and then return 200 on this. So pretty much all straightforward things. It's a simple list we are doing. So no need to go deeper into the each of the line, each and every line here. So it is pretty much straightforward. Now this is about the CRUD, how the CRUD operation and the list of objects we have done using the REST calls. So this is having all these things. All these samples, whatever he has shown here, are available on my GitHub. So I've added everything here. You can see Deno, and then you can see here everything, like how to run, how to install these things, and I put some points how it is different from that. Like I earlier explained, is not having any npm package, no packages like the .json, and all our async actions and all those stuff. And if you go inside the CRUD, this is having a full CRUD sample whichever is explained along with the postman I have added here. Should be pretty much straightforward to kickstart the Deno, and it is in instant stage. As we come across later, we will see how much we can add it to this framework. Now it has, if you go and then see some of the third-party libraries and standard libraries, I observed few things here. He has given the detailed steps on each and everything, how we can kickstart and building. So I'll try to bring more samples on how to build, and with a Mongo. They have a Mongo support somewhere. I saw Mongo thing. Let me check somewhere. I've seen the Mongo library support, so that we can do the same CRUD operation using Mongo, so that once the Mongo sample is ready, I'll upload one more video. For now, that's it. This is all about the Deno. Thank you.